What's up, guys? It's your boy Jarod and your girl Gabby, and we are back with episode 31 of the Kicks and Shit Show.
That's a good one this time, Rod. I like that one.
Listen, I've been perfecting it. I'm working on honing my craft. That's what we're all about, right? I always say the work continues. This is what it is, right? You got to work on honing your skill sets. What's going on in those post-Thanksgiving streets?
Well, these post-Thanksgiving streets included me having mashed potatoes for breakfast and then going for a run immediately after. Really great idea. I'm trying to maximize the leftovers, but also not feel guilty about it. So, it's all about balance, Jarod. How about you?
I agree. Well, here's the thing about it, right? If there's one time of the year where you can feel like, look, especially given 2020, where you feel like, I'm going to have me some mashed potatoes and not feel guilty about it. It is this year, and it is the day after Thanksgiving in this particular year. It's been a challenging one, and I know for many people, me included, right? It was a Zoom Thanksgiving, right? Like, saw the fam via Zoom, wasn't with them because, we have a pandemic going on, people.
No, I hear that. We did things a little bit differently as well at my house this year. I went down to go see my parents. I had my COVID test. I've been, socially distancing myself more than normal, which, you know what that means.
It's a little challenge for you.
When we decided to call and FaceTime the rest of the family, everyone kept being like, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. And I was like, well, we're inside and each of us are sitting at different sides of the living room. I'm like, since we're not eating and my parents can be a little stubborn about masking in their own home, which I don't blame them. They're in their own home. I tried to be as respectful as possible and sat literally as far away from them as possible, which they took a little bit personally. But, I have Jewish parents, so they're going to feel that way anyway. If I stayed an hour, if I stayed 10 hours, no time is ever enough.
Never enough.
So it was nice, though. Very weird, but nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, we as just as a society, right? Of course, we all, I've said on the show a million times, right? Like this time of year is my favorite, right? My birthday was the week before. Up through Thanksgiving, Christmas, the Jewish holidays, Hanukkah, and like the New Year's, it's a great time of year. It's just different this year, right? And the idea is we want to go back to how it used to be, right? As quickly as possible. So everybody's doing their part. But the main thing was we got to see people via technology. So thank God we have technology. And yes, it wasn't quite the same, but we did our best, and it was a enjoyable meal. Some good wine, some good cheeses, listen, doing what we can out here.
I mean, if you have good wine and good cheese, I feel like that's all that you need. Although I will say something that was new and fun this year for Thanksgiving, and shouts to my girl Mo, who hooked up the coquito this year for your girl Gabby, Mama Rosenthal decided to try some. So I was like going to give my parents a little after dinner drink, and they're like, open that box over there. And it's like a very fancy box.
Right.
I've never noticed that they've had. And I assume like my parents are very effective with the use of space in their apartment because they, the place that they're in now, they were going to use it as like a jumping off point down the shore. And they've decided now 5 years later that eventually they'll get a bigger place, but they've been very effective with the use of space. So I say that because this fancy box with this like brass opening, my mom goes, open the box. And I was like, I assumed it was going to be full of like pens and like little trinkets and things like that. Oh no, my mom had these cordial glasses, these fancy crystal cordial glasses, a set of 10. And I was like, you've been hiding these in here? I've never known that they were here. Mom's like swirling around her little coquito. She's like, this is delicious, Gab. There's a lot of alcohol in here. And I was like, I think that's the point, Mom. Delicious. She was like, you can only have one little glass because you have to drive. And I'm a very responsible adult. Yes. I don't drink and drive. If I'm having a drink, I will wait a while, drink a lot of water, eat a lot of carbs, doing my part to keep the road safe.
Mm-hmm.
But the glass was about this big, but my mom enjoyed her little sip and little swig of coquito this year, so that was nice.
Look at Mama Rosenthal branching out and having coquitos.
Yeah, she had to ask me. She had to ask for the pronunciation a couple times, but we're getting there. Progress. This is progress in 2020. And I say that, like, you know what? Even though this year has been trash, like if we had to describe a year as trash, 2020 would be the year. Mm-hmm. But I still think, and I know this is going to sound cheesy, and I don't mean this in like false positive toxicity kind of way,
Positive toxicity. There's a phrase you don't hear often.
No, but it's a thing. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Positivity, like being positive just to be
positive.
someone else's feelings. Like, I'm a positive person, but
No
I'm not
doubt.
like, I'm not going to take away from the feelings that we have. But you know what? In a weird way, there's a lot of things to be thankful for this year, right? Like,
Always.
there's been some amazing sneaker launches that I'm very thankful for. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I just think also, like, we started the show. I'm very thankful for that. I'm
We
thankful
did, in
for meeting
fact.
a man of the ladies and a man of the people, Jarod Hector, everybody. You know,
That
I
is
just,
true. That
there's
is
a lot of
true.
things to be thankful for. And I think this year it might be a little bit harder to figure out what those things are. But, like, I've been able to rekindle friendships with people that I haven't had time to reconnect with because I work a lot of nights and weekends and holidays and sports. I mean, you know
Oh,
better
shit.
than anybody.
Yes,
So
indeed.
it's been an interesting year, but, I'm trying to focus on the good things that have come from this train wreck.
No doubt. And look, what you talked about was very important. And it's something that, that I think I'd love to just touch on for briefly here for a second. Yes, there is reason to always have optimism. And because, you and I are very similar in that way, like, right? Like, we are optimistic people and generally very positive people. But it is okay to, I don't want to say be negative, but it's okay to honor your feelings when you're not feeling always upbeat and positive. Because guess what? The reality is you ain't going to be 100% 24/7, 365. It's just not realistic. Yeah, some days you're going to be like, this sucks, right? Like, because sometimes it does suck. And that's okay. You can honor those feelings in the moment and appreciate. But then to your larger point, Gabby, like, recognize, yeah, I am thankful for what I actually have, right? Like, and again, not to sound all like, hallmarky or whatever, but life could be a lot worse, right? Like, if you look at where you are in your situation, like, it could be a lot worse. Like, you know what I mean? And so we're doing a show, right? Like, I mean, we're not homeless, we're not sick, right? Like, I mean, yeah, I know that's like, oh, who cares? Like, no, but say that to the millions of people who are feeling those things right now. They gladly trade places with you. So it's always helpful to just, after you have your moment, is to just touch yourself and be like, you know what? Hold up. Let me just relax for a minute here. I honor and respect that feeling, but things could be way worse.
No, absolutely. And, and I say that, and I agree with you completely on that, right? Like, there are days where I don't even want to get out of bed or don't want to get off the couch. I don't know why I'm in the couch, but I don't want to get out of it or off of it either. And those days are okay because as long as it doesn't become a pattern and you let yourself get consumed by that, because I think that's the hardest part of all of this stuff that's happening, right? Is it's very easy, as we may be potentially heading towards a second lockdown, to try not to get wrapped up in what's going on and to do things, self-care is really important.
Huge.
Mental and physical health should be priority, which is why even though I had my mashed potatoes for breakfast, that's one form of self-care. I did the other one immediately after I put on my running shoes and tried not to throw up. Because, I really care about my body. It's a temple. So I want to take care of it whatever it needs. Balance.
Well said. Well said. Transitioning to sneakers. So Jordan 1s, there are a lot of mids that are coming out. And I know you have very strong feelings about Jordan 1s, period, but also Jordan 1 mids. I'm just going to say this about Jordan 1s. I think that polarizing isn't the right word. I think people have a lot of strong feelings and opinions about the ones because they are the ones, right? Because they were the first original shoe. And I think so many people only see them as an OG high top, can't see them anywhere else. What I will say is this. If that's how I respect that 100%. I get it. You want to keep the original. I do know the man himself, as his daughter proudly claimed, all he does is rock 1 lows these days, right? Now, granted, he's a 50-something-year-old man, so, that be that as it may. But, for me, the mids, I don't know that I would ever, maybe I would, depending on what they look like. But 1 lows, I like those. And of course, the original high top. So just my 2 cents on the 1s.
I agree. I mean, the 1s they've been having a moment for a while, which is funny because we've talked about this with guests past, how the 1s used to be kind of trash because they weren't that comfortable. They never used to sell out so quickly. And then once they gained popularity due to, in part, the hype beast culture, you can't get your hands on them anymore. But as a female, I love a mid. I mean, I always feel like whenever you preface saying that I have strong thoughts, that it's always going to be aggressive or negative thoughts.
No.
I know you're not implicit on anything here, but usually that's what follows. Like, I'm going to call spade a spade. I'm the spade in this situation. So this is no shade against you, man of the ladies, man of the people. But I I love a mid, and I don't
Nothing
care
wrong with
who
that.
knows it. Like mids and bike shorts are kind of on the same level for me. Like that's gonna be my new jam, and I want you all to know it. Okay? I
Let me
want
ask you a
everyone to know
question.
it.
Would you wear mids, bike shorts, fanny packs, and ankle weights at the same time?
The only reason I'm gonna say ankle weights, no,
It's because they're
is
mids.
and I wouldn't wear them with a high top
Okay.
either. I don't want to jeopardize the
With a
shoe.
low, you would.
With a low, I would rock it, but
Okay.
I also, on the other side of this, I don't rock a Jordan 1 low. They
That's
kind
true.
of look like bowling shoes to me a little bit, respectfully. Sorry, MJ. I know you're the GOAT, the king. I like a dunk low better. The sole's a little bit
Interesting.
thicker. It's a little bit more nostalgic for me. I like the thickness of the
So
soles. Or
wait,
like
so
an Air Force
you
One low, I like better than a Jordan 1 low.
you think my one lows with the summer colors look like bowling shoes?
No, not in that colorway. I didn't say all colorways look like boat shoes, but some of them do, you know. And when I saw some friends
Wait, you say bowling or boat shoes?
bowling,
Bowling. Okay. Bowling. Yes.
like bowling for Air Jordans, yes. It's gonna be the name of my memoir. Or
Bowling
something.
for Air Jordans.
I don't know. I don't even know. This is what happens when I give up coffee and had carbs, a little carbicide the day before. But the ones that aren't really my bag, but that's okay. I just, as
All good.
Kiara said in last week's episode, your girl got some thick legs, so they don't necessarily flatter me so much. But I think the mid is cute. I think because I'm a female, it's a little bit more delicate. It's not that different than an Air Jordan 1 high, people. I know we think it's so different. It's really not. It's still a mid, like, it's higher than the fours. The fours are, you know what I mean? It's like, if you look at the height.
Are they higher than the threes, would you say? They probably are
I
higher
would say
than the
they're
threes.
higher than the threes too, around the same height. It's comparable.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand that people give the one mid such a hard time. And I want to give shouts to Jordan Brand.
Yep.
Because they've been doing some dope colorways. Dope colorways. I just picked up a pair that I'm really excited about, the Burgundy women's launch. And you know me, normally I have mixed feelings about women's specific launches. But you know what? I'm here for these because there's like this burgundy oxblood color. It's more of that traditional color usage on the shoe. They're amazing. They have these charms on them. I mean, they do have a women's charm on them, which, respect. So I understand why guys might not want to make a play for that one. So that is more of a true women's launch. Like, to me, I get it. I don't need to know the why because it's there in the charms. But
you're like, what is this? A Pandora bracelet on my sneaker? Like, what is this thing?
No. This is a good charm. Don't put this in the same box as Pandora. It's almost like a grill for your kicks. That's how I'm gonna articulate it. Okay. On each shoe, there's 3 different like lace charms.
Oh, all right.
Fire.
Okay.
Great job, Jordan. I'll take 27 pairs in a size 7. Some to rock, some to stock, and some to just give to my friends so we can get the Air Jordan 1 mids trending.
Wow, look, you see,
the season of giving. Season of giving.
It is a season of giving. I wonder if just because the word mid is so mid. I wonder if that's why people are like, mids. They're so mid. Like, I wonder.
Like low should be like, low. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna go by that, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's other styles of Nikes and Jordans that do a better low than the Air Jordan 1 low. Like, it's just not for me. I actually really like the colorway that you have. I think it's a little bit different. It's
a summer shoe for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think in more of the traditional color blocking, I don't love it as much. And I get why Jordan tried it. They tried it in pretty much every popular colorway and retro. I think it's cool. For some people, it's great. Like I said, I was with a bunch of friends, and one of the guys was rocking a pair of bread toe 1 lows. And I was like, okay. You might be changing my perspective. Doesn't mean I'm going to wear them, but I like the way that they look on you. It's a vibe.
See that? Gabby is open to change people.
And he said, because he has skinny legs, they look great. They say like a good style for him. And I said, because I do not have skinny legs, because as we all know, thick thighs save lives.
Indeed.
And Air Jordan low is not my bag. It just doesn't look so great on me, I tried. I'm a mids girl, and I'm saying it here first. And all y'all can hate. DM me. Let's chop it up. I want to talk about it.
Wow, look at that, folks. She said, come for her. Well.
Come for me. Absolutely. I'm ready.
Anyway, as much as I'd love to continue this conversation about mids, we have a guest coming up. So, this guest is from the world of Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA. I mean, wow. I mean, he's from just the sports world in general. So, that's your little tease. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? We are back. And Gabby, we are joined by the one and only sports photographer extraordinaire, Gemini Keez. What's going on, my dude?
My brother, thank you so much, man. It's an honor for me to be on your platform, my man. I understand that I got a call from Dexter, and he told me about what you guys are doing, and I've been hiding out. I haven't really been seen, but I know who you are, my brother, because you're an extremely hard worker. And Gabby, I see you everywhere. I just haven't really formally met you, but I know of your works, and you're thorough. And I'm just happy to be here. But my brother, I know that you just recently had a birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I feel older and wiser. Well, definitely older.
Aging
I don't know
like
about
a
wiser.
fine wine, Jarod. A fine, delicious wine.
You're gonna have to tell me where this fountain of youth is, all right, my man?
All right, listen.
What's going on over here?
I got
France,
you.
Italy, Napa, you tell us. We'll
Well,
drink it.
listen, offline. I don't want to let everybody in on the secret, so I'll tell you guys offline. But it's so funny because Gemini, like last time I saw you in person was at Barclays in February before All-Star. And I gotta say, your constitution, your makeup was looking very different than it looks right now.
Yeah. The people that know the KeezCam, they know me with the short fade, kind of low cut. And I don't know, man, this Corona thing, you know what I mean? It's isolation. But no, the real story behind this and this caco that I got going on right here. And I'm not used to it because I'm constantly touching it. I gotta learn to leave it alone. But a mutual of ours, my mentor by the name Anthony Causi, which you guys know, the sports world knows, he was one of the first casualties of the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And we were supposed to hook up during spring training, like we always do. We have lunch, and he was telling me he wanted to pay for a haircut. He told me I needed a haircut. So I told him, I said, look, my man, when I see you, we'll go ahead and do it, and I'll let you cut my hair. But obviously I was lying. I wasn't gonna let him cut my hair. And my man hit me from the hospital and was like, he got the corona, but he was up in good spirits. And he was basically telling me that he's going to be out of there soon. And, we were going to meet up. And, unfortunately, I lost my mentor and one of my best friends in the business. And I haven't cut my hair since, guys. I got a shape up here and there, but I just haven't cut my hair because every time I think about doing it, I just can't get Anthony out my mind. So I don't know. I'm just keeping it. And, it's been working for me. I get a lot of compliments about the hair. I just got to learn how to work it.
It's a conversation starter for sure.
Yeah, I gotta learn how to work it.
I remember when Anthony passed, because obviously in the sports community we know that all the emails and text messages and because when you're in this community you're in like 8,000 group chats and you're always on these lists and you get these notes and you're like, wow. And that's for so many of us. That's when because for most people that's when it's real. When it affects you and your people that that's when you're like, oh, this is serious. But that's a great place for us to start, though, Gemini, because I want to start from the beginning, man. Like, people often don't know a lot about the people behind the scenes, right? But all these fantastic images they see, there's a good chance you're one of the people who took the photos, right? So how did you get involved in this business? Did you love sports as a kid growing up, and you're like, I want to be on the field, I want to do this? How did it start for you?
Well, for me, I was a former athlete, and I thought I was going to make it to the pros. That was the thing for me. I was a college athlete. I played for a couple of universities, and I actually thought that I was going to be a Major League Baseball player. But when I got to college, I learned how to throw parties. No, and it was a big thing for me. Like I was kind of like the Puerto Rican Puff in my college days.
The Puerto Rican Puff.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh man, I don't stop now. And listen, so I was interning at Atlantic Records. I was working in the music industry from like the late '90s, early 2000s, and I worked for Atlantic Records in their urban department as well as Def Jam and a few others. And I used to always be around these musicians and stuff like that, right? So once I got out of that, I had all those relationships. I got into the sports thing, and this writer who was he was just cool with me. He took me to Yankee Stadium as just to go with him, and he took me directly to the Yankee clubhouse to meet with Mariano Rivera, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like in my mind, I'm like, are we really? He just nonchalantly, yeah, we're just gonna go see Mariano, and it was just me, my guy Julio, and Mariano Rivera. And I'm just trying to act like I've done this before. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm in the Yankee clubhouse. And I'm talking to Mariano like it's nothing. And from that point on, it opened up my eyes that I wanted to be in the sports media. So I used to do the Q&As with all these athletes. And I put out a lot of content doing the one-on-ones that was called the Keez in the Pen. But once we got into the whole NBA part of it, you know, with the credentials and how they do it, things were starting to get a little, you know, little. And I was feeling like it was the end of days, and that was that. So on my last couple of weeks, I just was going to the games just to take pictures of the players' shoes because I always admired the kicks. And, you know, it was the beginning of that whole Instagram thing. So I said, let me bring something different and show you what Darren Williams and all these guys on, you know, Brooklyn and the opposing teams are wearing. And I tell you, it was the happiest mistake I ever made. Because from that point on, Darren Williams and Billy King and the Brooklyn Nets immediately gravitated to what I was doing, and they kept pushing me to do it. And I didn't even realize all I was doing was taking pictures of the players' shoes. I wasn't even doing action shots. Everybody wanted to know what they were wearing. So I was just giving you the close-up, doing the 360 angles, showing you the messages. There was a story behind the shoe. I was doing the interviews, and it just blew up. You know, companies like Soul Collector and Slam immediately just came to me, and you know, they were talking to me about sneakers, and I don't talk sneaker. I don't do the sneaker vernacular thing. That's not my thing. And I always had to explain to them, like, look, I understand that you guys like shoes, and I'm in a position where I can show you something that no one else is doing. And it worked. And the players around the league, the NBA, were all showing my photos to the point where it pissed off the NBA. And that's when the problem started coming to me. And they mandated that all the NBA photographers throughout the NBA, in every NBA city, to go ahead and take pictures of the players' shoes. And that's when things went downhill for me. And I went over to the MLB. And because what I was doing at MLB, I suggested the Players Weekend. I don't know if you guys know Players Weekend called KeezCam. And they were like, John, that's my name, John. Everybody calls me Keez, but you know, the PR people want to call you by your government name. So John, go ahead and do what you do. And baseball has accepted me. And bro, I can go to any MLB city. Not right now, of course, but
Right, yeah.
and just do what I do. And they just, I mean, the players just gravitate to me immediately. They'll give me their shoes. They'll ask me what players are wearing what when they came into the city because they don't want to wear the same shoes. And it becomes a thing. These guys keep me busy.
Yeah.
And they want me to take the picture. And I'm like, dude, so what do I get out of this? And then I started getting a whole bunch of sneakers and stuff and, you know, started working it like that just to make it work for me. You know, and that's just where it is. Like, it was a happy accident, guys. And from that point on, now everybody seems to be doing it. You know what I mean? So every time you see a sneaker on TV or when you're watching a game and all of a sudden they're highlighting the shoe and talking about it, chances are they got that from the KeezCam. And I'm being very humble about this, guys. I really am, okay? But it has to be known because I would talk to all these other photographers and I'd say, well, if you guys were shooting shoes during the Jordan days, let me see them. And to this day, have we seen any of the greats with their exclusive shoes? No, they'll take a picture and they'll minimize it just to show you the shoe. And that's not what KeezCam does. So I'm still waiting.
No, you're right. It's hard to find. I mean, we've had some guests on, like even looking for some of Kenny Anderson's when we had him on the show, exclusive kicks that he had, it's impossible to find. And so unless they still have the shoe, it didn't exist. And I mean, I think to your point, the NBA really gravitated towards that, especially with the NBA fits. You see all these Instagram accounts popping up. So that's really cool. And I know the NFL does their My Cause, My Cleats every December, which we have coming up probably in the next week or two. But baseball, I think, is really interesting because that's a really up-and-coming sport when it comes to custom cleats. So, and really having the Jordan style with some of the baseball cleats. But what are some of the coolest that you've seen and who's rocking them?
What are some of the coolest spikes, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you Jordan brand guys, because the Jordan brand guys, they show out. You know that. They will get all the exclusives and, you know. So my guy Gio Gonzalez, he's one guy, you know, he's Chicago White Sox. He's one of the like #1 Jordan brand ambassadors. He's a guy that when he gets the shoe, he'll send me a picture of it and say, "Hey, Keez, look what I got now." And if you go to his Instagram account, I mean, he's like the #1 Jordan brand guy. Of course, Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, who's a Under Armour guy. You know, to be honest with you, it's a lot of the stars. They come to me. So you name the player, and I'll tell you, yeah, I have a personal relationship with him when it comes to shoes or their equipment. Because with baseball, it's not only the shoes, it's the gloves, the bats, the bat gloves. And I make sure I highlight all of that, which is what the pros are wearing. And that's my thing.
So Keez, what I love too, you mentioned something about Jordan Brand, and it's so true about how, you know, and again, it's so funny. He always asks us like offline, like, all right, like, y'all just like always be like talk about Jordan Brand. I'm like, yeah, well, because like Jordan Brand, like, and again, yes, we have relationships there, and they are good people, and we love what they do. But there is something about the way they understand the lifestyle, in addition to the performance, right? Better than other brands do. And it's so funny because Gabby, one of the connections I had with Keez early on was, I mean, it'd been like last season or maybe 2 seasons ago. It was when my man Samir, Samir used to work at Jordan Brand, was at Samir. So it was the year that the Concords got re-released, right? And he came to Barclays and was giving it out to all like the Nets ball boys and whatever. And I remember Gemini was out. And he was like getting all the shots of them and all that. And I was like, yo, Gem. I was like, who's that? He's like, yo, that's Samir from Jordan. I was like, you better go find out who that is, dog. Like
conversation, yes. Yep. And let me tell you, Samir, he's one of the greatest guys in professional sports, which I believe
he's a good dude.
He's over at Slam now.
Yeah, he's over Slam.
But that guy, let me tell you, whenever I needed something as far as maybe an interview or just to tighten up a relationship, chances are they all knew Samir. And all I had to do was just say his name. And sometimes I'd be like, hey, Samir told me to.
That's it. Yep.
And the player would just be like, oh, word? All right, cool. And I'd be lying. I got it done. And I tell Samir, yo, Samir, you know I had to drop your name, right? And he goes, yo, do what you got to do. So, Samir, yeah, he's definitely a go-to guy, man. Like,
yeah, man.
That dude, there's so many great things you're going to hear about that man that we haven't even heard yet.
He's wonderful. And it's so funny that you say that, though. But that's this industry, though, right, Gabby? You know that, right? Well, we got to get stuff done. Sometimes you got to just be like, yeah, my man so-and-so told me that, because you have to, we got to get these things done. I want to touch on something, though, Gemini, that because people obviously see our platform, what we do, they see stuff that you do, and of course everybody's like, how do I do that? How do I do that? But you talked about, though, the accident, right? It was an accident that you did that, but it's born out of your passion for the thing, right? Like, and I think that's what I always try to let people know. It's like, look, man, you could tell, like, you're a college athlete, like, you felt it, like, the passion you have for baseball, right? And then sport and how it branched itself over. It's the same for Gabby and I. Like, so when we sort of, like, make it, or these trends or things happen, we're not out there trying to start a trend or make things happen.
Right.
We just like what we do, and if we get lucky and it catches on, all right, we won. But it comes out of a place of, yo, man, I just love being at the arena, at the ballpark, at the that's where this stuff comes from. Talked about the passion behind like just sport and like being around athletes.
Oh man, well, for me, look, sports was like a religion for me at one point. It's not so much now.
As we get older, it changes, but
Right. But back then, oh man, I mean, between sports talk radio, if the Knicks lost or won, that would be the mood of my day. And the Knicks always.
I know about that.
Oh man, it had me annoyed. I used to hate watching the Knicks on Friday because they would always disappoint. I have a stat in my head that the Knicks suck on Friday. I swear, they never win on Fridays. But anyway.
It's because we have a different theme song at the games. That's why we got the Friday Night Knicks opening song. It's a real thing.
Oh, why don't you switch the song back?
I don't. It's above my pay grade, Jarod.
There were so many events that I turned down on Friday nights to watch the Knicks and would feel utterly disgusted after that. You know what I'm saying? So,
I actually do know exactly what you're saying because I've been there working the Friday night games.
Oh man, it's the worst.
That's why there's a great bar right across the street. VIP member over there.
I don't know what it is with Friday and the Knicks, but I'm telling you, if you go down the history and their schedule, they don't do so great on Fridays. So we got to find out what they do on Thursday night. But no, it's just the passion of it. I love. I mean, for me, the best thing for me, Jarod, to be honest with you, was watching the players that I grew up watching as coaches and really like talking to them and, just telling them about games that I remember about them. And they love hearing great things about themselves. You know what I mean? And being able to build solid relationships with ex-players. And what I mean by that is like meeting their families, taking personal family photos, doing weddings like I've done for certain coaches in the league. And that's the thing that's most gratifying for me. Now, I don't even care who wins the game now, or I don't even pay attention to stats because I feel like I'm so connected to every player and every coach and every scout in the league. I want everybody to do well. I mean, that's just, I don't get caught up in all that who's the GOAT stuff. I really don't. That's just, that's fan conversation. You know what I mean?
It's
gonna go nowhere.
It's fan conversation, and it's how do we fill 24 hours of talk time? Let's have this 58th debate in a row about whether or not
Jordan versus LeBron.
Right, and it's like, people, enough. Like, can we just stop with that? And again,
play the video game when it comes to your own conclusion. You know what I mean?
play the video game. I love it.
Get it trending on 2K. There you go.
There you go. But yeah, like I said, I'm sorry, guys. This thing.
It's all good.
The passion behind that was that for me, and like I said, seeing the shoes on the court, my initial thought was, wow, I've never seen any of these shoes because they were all exclusives, and I probably couldn't afford them, so I was just basically taking the pictures just to show people, like, look, this shoe isn't coming out for 6 months, and my man is rocking them right now, and that was the information that I didn't even know that I was giving out. I had no clue, because I was just basically saying, this is Carmelo Anthony's game shoe versus the Toronto Raptors at MSG. And if you look at all my photos on Instagram, because I have over 10,000, that's exactly how I would tag all of them. And all these shoe companies would go back to them, and that's how you see all these retro kicks.
Yep.
They go back to like 2012, 2011, 2009, and they bring them back out now. Just so it's pretty cool. It's cool to see. It really is.
You started a revolution in many ways, though, Gemini, right? Because, like, look, it's, as Gabby said, the league fit cam and all. Now, of course, like, I'm not saying, like, all right, Gemini's the leader of, like, all fashion stuff, whatever. But that whole point about what photographers do now and looking at the shoe game and everything. I mean, even when I'm at the games with my iPhone, I'll be like, you know what, let me get a sneaker shot. And that came from somewhere, right? Like, I didn't just decide one day, like, it's because what you started, and then I started picking up on it.
The thing is, what I love about these shoe conversations, there's a conversation behind it. There's a story behind all these shoes. These guys like to put, like, Bible scriptures on their shoes. If they have a child, they actually get they get artists now to draw
custom shoes,
kids. So this thing is growing so much, man, and the detail, like, if you only knew what the inside of a shoe looks like, the bottom of the sole, like, these guys are freaking it out, man. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they throw, like, little, like, jets so that you guys can kind of, like, fly up in the air a little bit or something, like, see, like, little fire or something. But I love what I'm seeing right now, and not for nothing, a lot of artists right now that couldn't get no work on canvases are now showing their best work on a shoe and getting thousands and thousands of dollars to do it, man. And all I do is take the picture. You know what I mean? And I got to fight for credit. That's another thing. You always got to fight for credit. But it's all good. As long as the thing for me is that when teams come to New York, they always give me the 24 hours, 48 hours update to let me know, like, yo, I'm going to be in your city. Are you going to be around? Because I got something to show you. And that's the thing that, for me, I know separates me from everybody, because those guys aren't getting that information. I got NBA players telling me, yo, you know they stole your work, right? You know they stealing your work, right? And during the games, Jarod, you would know, I would have all these NBA interns following me with their camera.
Oh, yeah, I see them.
I'd be taking a picture. I'd leave.
They'll be next to the iPhone right next to you, right?
And they would post it right off of an iPhone. I'd be so annoyed. But the players would always tell me, yo, Keez, I got you. And they would post it on their personal account.
And tag you, make sure they know you, give you the credit.
Yeah, and then that would piss off the NBA, because the NBA wanted the players to exclusively use their photos.
Of course, you know how that goes.
Yeah, so that's what happened. You know, it hurts because, you know, you work so hard for them to just take it away from you. But it's cool because, like I said, what started in basketball, baseball has embraced me 110%, and I love the outdoors. Riding is better.
Absolutely. And you know what they say, though? Imitation really is the sincerest form of flattery. So, you know, that means you're doing something right if all of a sudden people are copying and using that idea. I mean, I think one thing that I've seen that's really interesting are the sneaker cams at different events that the teams are doing now. Instead of like a regular photo booth, they have the sneaker cams. It's just kind of crazy to see how it's exploded. But I don't know. What's next? What do you see as the next big kind of...
Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't really been able to think about what's next because I don't even know when we're going to go back to an event and be that close. I'm hoping come March things change. And listen, I'm not going to reinvent anything. I'm just going to keep going, doing what I'm doing, because it's the companies now that know they got to step up their game.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that got to come out with more exclusive shoes and the batting gloves and the color, the colorways. So they know that if they're in New York, we got to come correct because Keez and he got a couple followers, and then the NBA is doing what they do. They know it's gonna get instant, highlights on social media. They're not stupid. They know what's up.
And Keez, I love the fact that you really, because you could take this a different way and be real bitter about it and like really be going out on social media and really coming at the NBA, and you would have every right to, right? Because it in fact steal what you do. But knowing you as I do, it's like you're like, what am I gonna get out of that, right? There's nothing good with me promoting that negativity and being like, whatever. Again, take it as a compliment. You copy me, cool, whatever. I'm gonna move, do my other lane. I'm still here.
Jarod, I'm glad you said that because once again, I'm gonna bring up Samir Hernandez again. I used to be vexed, my brother, every time because I just felt like they were picking on me. They used to tell me that I was like trying. You're not supposed to talk to the players, and the players would come to me.
You, right? Yeah.
And they took that like I was trying to mess around with them. And it was like I was always being watched. So I used to talk to the players about it. And they used to tell me, yo, Keez, just like what you just said, Gabby, imitation is a form of flattery. They just do you, Keez, don't worry about it. They used to all tell me, we got you. Carmelo, even LeBron James. I have a cool story about the All-Star game, 2015. Can I say it real quick?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were in Brooklyn and we were at the Garden. And that was when, every media member throughout the world was in those buildings. You know this. And that was when the moment I knew I belonged, because I was right in front of LeBron James while he was, taking a picture, tying his shoes, because that's all I used to do was watch these guys. And all of a sudden, all the media and NBA guys started to flock around me to take his picture. And LeBron told the security guys to get rid of all the media and to just keep me there because he knew what I did. And that became a story on Yes.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I was known as LeBron's personal sneaker guy, which wasn't true.
Right.
But, I ran with it.
Not a bad gig to be known as, though. Not a bad gig to be known as.
Yeah, I'll run with it. No problem. But it helped me a lot because it was on video where he was like, yo, get these guys out. And I have the photo of it on my Instagram, too, where you just see the back of my head. And it was guys like even Kobe Bryant. They allowed me to do what I did because they understood I was the only one doing it. I was the only guy on the floor.
Well,
belly flopping on the floor, taking pictures, and guys were like stepping over me like Iverson. I was on the baseline, and they knew what I was doing. So there's nobody else doing that. I do that on the baseball field. I'll get on the dirt, and I'm like dusting myself off.
And Keith, it's so funny because the players, right, in that sense, are the ones that matter, right? And it's a saying that they all have, right? And we know it because we say it in our own variations, which is game recognized game. Right, like so. In that sense, like so that's why LeBron did that, right? He's like, oh no, Keez is my man. Like he's been here. The rest of y'all get lost. And by the way, LeBron don't like none of that stuff, right? Like media's are like, first of all, most of the players hate media and everything that we do, right? Because they just find it as annoying and intrusive. So when you are a guy that they're like, nah, I fool with him, that's when you made it, right? When LeBron's like, kick all the rest of them out, leave him.
You remember how Darren Williams was in Brooklyn, right?
No doubt.
The media, Darren used to always hang out by me because he felt like he was fulfilling his media requirements without part of the media. And we were just talking about his family and what sneakers he was going to wear. And that was it. And he that.
Yeah.
He had his ways. And I'm just glad he was never like that with me. You know what I'm saying? But he had a way to turn you off. He did. And a few of them are like that. Even Kyrie.
Well, because
absolutely.
The big thing is, though, is that, they know with you, Keez, you don't want anything from them, right? Like, your thing is, I'm taking a picture of your shoe. And they're like, all right, you're not going to write something that I said, whatever. Like, I'm just taking...
it's going to highlight them,
right.
too. It's
I'm
going
just
to make them
pictures.
add to the cool factor, who they are as a brand. And it's non-intrusive, right? So, like, whatever it takes to get the shot, like, they know you're there just doing your job. It's like when they're warming up, they're practicing their jump shots. So are you. It's the same equivalent. So...
And they love the photos. Yeah. They love it for their social media.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you know, it's hard for them to actually get photos from the NBA.
Really hard, I know.
Yeah. So I become their go-to guy, and for me, once I get that email address and phone number, I won.
Yeah, it did. You're right.
Because a lot of those guys hit me up during the pandemic just to make sure that I was okay. I got a few toys, you know what I mean? So, the hard work definitely showed with the players. They're the ones that let me know, like, nah, we recognize what you're doing. you know.
That's
So
awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I love it because you just said something, Keez. You said toys. So, my friends, we're going to be back with America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell. You know your man Keez has got some stuff that y'all probably ain't never seen before just because that's the nature of the relationships that he has. So, stay tuned. What's up, guys? We are back with our guy Keez. So, Keez, we talked about a lot about shoes, man, in the last segment. And even though you are not a sneakerhead, and you know, on this show, Gabby and I, we don't even know what that word means. We don't like to use that label. If you are or you aren't, it doesn't matter. But because of your unique relationships within sports, you get some toys, as you call it. So, time for America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell. I know you have 3 pairs you want to show us, and there's stories behind them. So the floor is yours, my friend. Kick it off with pair number 1.
Well, when I started with this whole KeezCam thing, and you know, these sneaker companies were seeing that the players were showing my images with their brands, nobody was cutting a check for Keez. It was just like a good thank you or whatever. And then one day I just simply said, yo, I like those shoes. Can I get a size 10? And from that point, Jarod, all the companies like put me on like their mailing list. And every month I was getting like 3 pairs of kicks.
Gabby is so jealous right now. Can I just tell you?
I'm trying not to show
she
that.
is so jealous.
This is one person because I've been on the PR side. So all you do is have to get on one list. You're right. And
One
that's
list.
what it is.
So
because
that's what happened.
You show love. Exactly.
I was going to these events for Mache and all of that. And I didn't know. I was just taking pictures. I was just showing love. And I was, like I said, I was never getting a check. It was just, you know, love. It was a lot of love, right? And one day, you know, Jordan Brand and Nike, they threw me on a list, and I was getting kicks. Like, I swear, I was getting kicks like either every week, every 2 weeks. But by the month, I must have had about 10 to 12 pairs. Damn. And I'm not a sneaker person. I'm your Timberland guy, your Nike boots.
Dead ass.
You see some kicks, you're going to see me in a pair of fresh Air Max for the summer. But I'm not trying to wear Jordans or, you know, whatever the retro. It's just not my thing. I think they're uncomfortable, but whatever. So these companies would send me these kicks, and I'm like, well, I got to make money. So what I would do is, a lot of times, I would be on the block. And
on the block, I love it.
I knew, if I knew you were a size 10, it was good to know Keez, because I would give out, you know, a couple discounts, right? So what happened was I started using it as an incentive to help children and parents that couldn't really afford to buy their kids shoes and stuff. So I would challenge a lot of kids. You know, like, how you doing in school? And when's your next test? And if you give me this grade, I got a gift for you, some sneakers, however that goes. They would always get something in return. And this pandemic has been, you know, horrible for these kids, you know, with online stuff. And a personal friend of mine who fell on some hard times, couldn't get that PS5, couldn't get some shoes for his kid. And, you know, I made a call, my man Samir, and came through like that's my man 100%. And so this kid, I'm not gonna say his name because he get these gifts. He's getting 3 pairs of shoes because he was phenomenal with the whole going to school, logging in, doing stuff on his own. He's one of those latchkey kids, you know what I mean? So the kid is a great kid. And courtesy of Nike, he's getting these I gotta read this stuff. The PG1 promos from Paul George.
Oh.
Seen these before, right?
Yo,
those are fresh.
PG actually has a nice silhouette. Like they are nice.
I'd wear these. I would totally wear these. And you know, I'm thinking about maybe he'll get 2 pairs out of no. Listen. But he's getting these right here because he told me that Paul George is his favorite player. He told me Kyrie was his favorite player too. And guys over there sent me the Kyrie 3 promo.
Oh,
nice. It's a great shoe, the Kyrie's.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've dissected these things surgically with my camera. These are a beautiful shoe inside and out, and yeah, I love it. So he's getting these, but these are a surprise, guys. And maybe you guys could tell me more about these. All right. So these are the Jordan 5 retros out the box. I'm sorry, out the box. Jordan 5 retro, Paris. Saint-Germain.
Yeah, the PSGs. Yep.
And I looked online. These things are like $400, and I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So this kid is gonna get these in a couple of days, and courtesy of my team over at Nike. And these are the things that I like to do to give back, because I'm always working. I'm always out there on the grind. So why would I be out there with fresh kicks, dirtying them up? Because I totally would do that. If you make me throw on those Jordans, I will scuff them up on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because people throw on their shoes, and now all of a sudden they don't want to do certain things. You know what I mean? They walk, they're not.
They don't want them to crease. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, walk over a puddle, and I'm like, man, who cares?
Well, see, Keez, I can appreciate that because this year All-Star, it was in Chicago, as you know, and it was bad weather out there. And Gabby was like, "Yo, Jarod, what kicks did you bring?" I was like, "None. I'm not wearing these out here in these streets. What, you crazy? I'm not stepping in over snow puddles and no. We're not doing that."
Meanwhile, I checked a bag. It was like, I want to bring a pair for different outfits.
I was like, oh no, but Keez, I love what you're doing with those, and those sneakers are dope. I want to go back to the fives. You want to pull those back out again, the Jordan fives. So PSG, as everybody knows, that's Paris Saint-Germain, the number one team in Paris, football or soccer as it's known in this part of the world. So Jordan Brand makes the kit for PSG, right? The uniforms and all that and all their extra stuff. And when I was actually in Paris this year for NBA Paris, and Jordan was there and he was talking about it to us, the media, about like what's the next phase and what they're doing there. And his big thing is like, look, we want to continue to push the lifestyle envelope and show like, yeah, it's about performance wear, of course, but also about, yo, you want to look fresh when you're out. And he's like, where else could you do that but the fashion capital of the world, which in fact is Paris, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the stuff they're doing with PSG is amazing. I love that the 5 is a great silhouette. We're fans of the 5s here. And the PSG, I love the little logo on the back there. It's nice, man. Yep, there it is. Yep, with the jump man.
And Neymar's a Nike athlete,
and yes,
so there's a connection as well. Mm-hmm, so I think those are really dope. I mean, I feel like Jarod, those would look great on you with a suit. Jarod likes to wear J's in suits, so
I do like to wear J's in suits.
I would totally rock these at a wedding.
So Gabby, I might have to reach out and touch someone for those. What do you think?
I don't know. But ask for a size 7 though for yourself one time. Jarod's like, guess what I got today? And I'm like, I don't know, like left the face.
You have access to all the shoes.
It's funny. Everyone always says that. Everyone thinks I have access to all the shoes, but because it's such a popular size, it's very challenging to actually get shoes in my size.
I would say.
Well, wait, Gabby. Remember when the New York Liberty was at the Garden? I was working with them for a couple of years, and the WNBA loved Keez.
Oh, I believe it.
So that size 7 or whatever you're talking about, I got you. You let me know.
See, look at that, Gabs. You see?
Well, I'm serious.
Hanukkah came early this year. I mean, as well.
The WNBA has shown me love. The ladies of the WNBA always let me know that no one was doing what I was doing, and every time they need something with regard to a shoe, they hit me up.
And I think you've opened the door with them too, like Kia Nurse right now with all that she's doing, partnering with Jordan Brand, with all the different colorways that they've been working on the design process. I know nothing has been formally announced yet, but all the behind the scenes images that we've seen come out. I mean, you have to know that's a test to your work right there, that it's inspired these collaborations because, you know, the way that the W has risen even in popularity and notoriety, I mean, it's in part because of your photos.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, there's certain shoes in the WNBA that are not afforded to the men of the NBA. Like these women have their own exclusive kicks.
I like it.
And I'm happy to hear that. I love that.
Yeah. So they do their own thing, and the sneaker culture in the WNBA is growing more and more too.
No doubt. Well, the thing you mentioned, Keez, about, so Gabby's saying the size 7's hard to find, and so it's true, as you know, like certain sizes, when the launches or whatever things happen, they're hard to get your hands on. So 7s to about 6.5 to 7.5 is those 3 sizes really hard to get, and anything from like 9.5 to 11s. It just, for whatever, because that's like when you look at like, you know, the majority of people, that's where men and women like 9.5 to 11, 6.5 to 7.5. That's where most people fall. So those sizes go like crazy. So a lot of times you'll see people get like 13s or whatever, and then they'll be like, all right, let me see if I can sell that to somebody and get the money and then use that to buy whatever or trade or what have you. But that's the sneaker game out there though, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it helps to know some important people in those certain sectors, because like you just said, if I know that I couldn't get my hands on a size 7 or a 9, I know I could just make a call and say, any chance I can get this size? And they make it happen. So that's what I'm saying, Gabby.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I would say my memoir is actually going to be called I took an L on sneaker bags again.
2021 gonna be different, all right?
It is. It's gonna hit different. That's right.
It's gonna hit different.
I promise you.
No, but seriously though, Keez, this was dope, man. We really appreciated having you on. Loved, just your perspective on things, and honestly, the story about like with the kids and like and the motivation. That's awesome because look, you could have easily been like, okay, yeah, let me just take all these shoes and sell them and make a profit off them and just like do whatever. But you're like, you know what? These are people who I know want these things, but let me figure out a way. How can I get these kids to want to do better in school, motivate, whatever? All right, boom. Let me help you out with that. Because a lot of people honestly wouldn't give a crap. They'd be like, whatever. I'm just go ahead and sell these, make my $1,000, whatever I'm gonna make, and just keep it moving.
Jarod, look, let me tell you something, man. When I first started, I was like a struggling artist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of the kicks that I got, I sold. I had to pay the rent.
Yeah,
and once I started to get a handle on it, I wasn't gonna hoard everything. Like, you got to give back, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when you give back, you get more in return. And that's my thing. Like I said, I recognize that the shoe thing is a major conversation amongst the sneaker culture. I recognize that was a thing. And I just wanted to show you guys an up close of what the players are wearing. And like I said, it was just a happy accident. It really is. That's how I describe it, as a happy accident,
Well, it's wonderful, and we appreciate having you on. Let the people know where they can find you.
Well, Gemini Keez, once this Corona thing is done, you will find me at your nearest arena in New York, whether it's the Garden or Brooklyn. And during the summer, you'll find me in the Bronx with the New York Mets and Queens. And depending on what happens at the WNBA, I would love for them. Well, they're coming back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
In the summer. In Brooklyn with the ladies of the New York Liberty.
And then on your social handles,
everything will be Gemini Keez. You'll basically find me on Instagram because that's where I show my images. So, but I also have a Twitter, but that's usually in effect during the season. But my Instagram, that's where you want to go. So that's Instagram, Gemini Keez.
Love it, man. And again, we appreciate you so much. As always, folks, y'all know where to find us. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the things at Kicks and Shit Show. And Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. New episodes drop every Monday. Stitcher, SoundCloud. We're everywhere. We're out here in these streets, as the kids say. Until next time. Peace.
Peace. Thank you, guys.